Hi there, my name's Alex Crawford. I'm a foreign correspondent for Sky News, and I'm also the patron of the National Council for the Training of Journalists, a position I'm extremely proud to hold. I want to talk to you about how I got into journalism, how important I think training is, and how I feel it's necessary in going forward for us all to be a better journalists in our industry. I don't feel I'm the best person to tell you the best way to get into journalism, because I literally applied to virtually every regional newspaper in Britain. Most of the time I didn't get a reply, or I got a rejection. I finally got a reply. The one and only editor who rang me up was a man called Adam McKinley, a Scottish man who was a former Fleet Street operator, who basically gave me the time of the day. I have no idea why he decided to ring me up and why he actually entertained me for a couple of hours at his newspaper. He was editor of the Wokingham Times, a very small newspaper in the Thames Valley. It had a readership of about 13,000, but he was an absolute pivotal person in my career. He first of all gave me a chance. And remember, at the interview he said, "What do you think is the most important thing about being a journalist?" And I was 18 at the time, had zero experience, did not know anything about journalism, and said, "I think the most important thing is to be honest." And he said, "No, the most important thing is to be accurate." And the other key thing that he taught me, because he felt it was extremely important, was training. And even though he was editor of a very small newspaper, he set aside money to send all his journalists to the NCTJ training course. In this case, it was in Newcastle. That's where I went and where all my colleagues on the newspaper went. And it was an incredible experience. We learned shorthand. We learnt the importance and the workings of local administration, town councils, district councils, city councils, and also law for journalists. And one of the main tutors there was a man called Walter Greenwood, who wrote The Essential Law for Journalists. I did not realise at that time just how big and important Walter Greenwood would be to me, and his words would set the ground path for the way I'd operate for the next 35 years. He was incredibly energetic, and he used to stride into the room in front of all us young, eager trainee journalists. And he was very popular. He was very keen on quoting Nicholas Tomlin, saying, you know, the qualities of a good journalist are you should possess a rat-like cunning, a plausible manner, and a little literary ability. And he always said that with a huge smile on his face. And he taught us all, and particularly me, the importance of opening your eyes and ears and realizing there were stories all around you. So he'd say, when you're coming into work, you should be, when you're coming in to learn that day, you should be noticing things. You should be looking out for stories. And the first thing he'd say at the beginning of the morning was, "Okay, tell me, what story did you find on the way in this morning?" And we'd all be searching around trying to find, I saw someone coming through the field and, you know, I wondered whether something was happening there. He used to make us go around the room, right? Tell me, what did you see? What story did you see on the way in today? And those sort of traits, those sort of lessons, I think have stayed with me all my career, and have laid the bedrock of, you know, you just need to go out there and you just need to look and listen and hear. And he also taught the importance in when we were writing our stories and learning shorthand. And you've got to remember, a number of really good journalists had trod the path before all of us. He mentioned Nik Gowing, for instance. There were a whole load of them. He liked mentioning Nik Gowing a lot. And he used to say, you know, when you're writing your story, think about what is most interesting to you. what is most important to you? What is you think most people would be keen on hearing? It's not interesting if a dog bites a man, cliche though it is, it's very true. It is interesting if man bites dog. To always look for the most interesting, the most important, the most unusual. Those were big moments for me, and he also, I think, showed me the importance, and I feel very strongly the importance of learning and training at the grassroots level. I honestly feel sorry for the young trainees, or maybe not so young trainees, who come in at a much higher position, who come straight in from college or university into, for instance, an international TV channel like Sky. I think it's very difficult to have the confidence, it's very difficult to have all the weapons that you need to be a good journalist if you're jettisoned straight to a very big field. For me, certainly, I thought it was very important to go to town council meetings, district council meetings, and be the only person in the office when the members of the public walked in to complain about what you'd written or to point out your inaccuracies. It was a perfect ground to make mistakes and learn about what is important, because every story has a local beginning. Every single story will have started somewhere small and explode into maybe a national agenda or an international agenda. So if I had to give any advice to anyone starting out, I'd say don't think too big too quickly. You're going to harm yourself. You're going to find it difficult. Try and remember to take it slowly. And we're all hungry. We're all desperate to get on and move quickly and learn fast. But sometimes you just have to do the training. You just have to do, you can't go straight to running a marathon. You have to do the training beforehand. And it will help you and help the industry in the end.